Hello! Today we have a nice total body workout that we're gonna do, and you're gonna need some floor space and one weight. So here we go. First thing that we're gonna do is just squat. So your feet are comfortably wide, hip distance apart, maybe a little further. Hips go straight back and down. Dig through your heels to come up, lift your big toes. If that helps you to dig more through your heels, going down, really think about engaging your abs, pulling that belly button up and into your spine. Recovery breaths here on the rest. And if you really think about it, as you come up, we're pulling everything up and in from our whole pelvic floor. And as we start to build a little heat, nice full deep breath in through your nose, breathing out through your mouth, allow some of that heat to escape. Cool you down a little bit. We are inhaling on our way down into our squat, exhaling as we come up, forcing all the oxygen to those muscles as they're working to bring you up. Your hips are going down and back first. Your knees are not bending first. It's like if you were going to sit in a chair, and then your knees stay right over your ankles. They don't come in. They don't weeble wobble in and out. They don't go forward. Right over your ankles. If you need to, pull up a chair and sit and stand out of the chair. If you're coming too far forward, face a wall so that if you go forward, you run into the wall. And when that belly button is up and into your spine as you're going forward, even if your torso is not straight up, you are straight through the small of your back. You're not arching and rounding your back. Arching or rounding. Those are the opposites. A nice little recovery here. Trying to remember to record my workouts. It's a goal of mine. Just a couple more of these. So in our Tabata timer, we go for 20 seconds, we rest for 10, and we repeat the exercise 8 times. Then we move on to the next exercise. So we're inhaling on the way down, tightening our core on the way down, pulling everything up to come up, really engaging those glutes and hamstrings in the back of our legs, not just on our thighs. You'll notice my hands are never on my thighs. You have them on your hips. I like mine in front of me. When you do this, this is when we really grip with our thighs. And then the next day you're like, oh, my quads are killing me. And I'm like, yeah, you should have used more booty. Don't push on your quads. Awesome. So the next one we're gonna do, we're gonna come down to our mat with our weight, and we're gonna do a plank with a row. I'm gonna do the modified weight first. And then if you know the advanced way, you can do it there, you can start there, and otherwise you can build up with me. Here we go. So I'm on top of my thighs, and I'm not in a tabletop position. My hips are forward, my abs are up and in. There is space between my knees, and your hand is gonna be under your shoulders, but possibly a little more narrow, a little closer to the center than normal. When you're lifting the weight, it's your shoulder blade that's pulling it back. So your hand is going to end up closer to your armpit than to your hip bone, but not in your armpit. The movement starts with your shoulder blade pinching onto your spine. So you really want to think about lifting your chest and pulling your shoulders away from the ground to give some space in your back there. And then pinch that shoulder blade right onto your spine, so it's not my arm that's lifting. When we shift our focus to our lower body, we want to make sure that the hip of the arm that's moving is turned down. You ideally want your hips even, and we have a tendency, whichever hand we're pulling with, to lift that hip up. So we're going to turn that hip down. So your belly button is either up and into your spine, or you're thinking about pushing, bearing down and pushing out. Either way, we'll activate those core muscles. Your shoulders are lifting away from the ground, so I'm not sending all my weight into my one poor wrist. We are halfway through, so I'm going to switch to a full plank up on my toes. Again, just give me space between my feet. And as you lift, it's that shoulder blade, not the arm, and lift your shoulders away from the ground so that you're not taking all the weight in the one hand that's down there. Really engage your core, squeeze your glutes, straighten through your quads. Get your whole body working to hold you up so that your one wrist doesn't have to do it. And we're going to exhale as our arm comes up. Think about turning down the hip on the side where you're lifting so that they stay even. We're going to do one more on each side, wherever you're at. If you are on the modified on top of your thighs, make sure your weight is shifted forward and you're not flat like a table. And if you're here on your toes, make sure your weight is pushed forward and that your butt's not up and back behind you. Great job. We're exhaling as our arm comes up, inhaling as we control, set it back down. Don't let the weight just slam into the ground. Awesome job. We're going to come back up for the next one. And we're going to do a little oblique abs here. So you're going to take your hands from one side, bring them to your hips, take your other knee and bring it to your shoulder. So we're here, hands to hip, knee to shoulder. And as you feel comfortable, you're going to add more of a twist across your rib cage. And or speed it up. So now think about the other way. Hands from the other side to your hip, other knee to your shoulder. Awesome. Back to our first side. And now if you feel comfortable, you can really speed it up. It'll get your heart rate up a little more. The more you twist, the more that oblique hips in. And on this one, we're exhaling as we twist. And when you exhale, you're emptying your stomach out. And back to the first side. I totally got that, guy. So we're exhaling as we twist. Inhaling as we uncrunch, untwist, unwind. This is a kind of easy one to just go through the motions, right? But if you really think about twisting, crunching, you can really start to activate a couple more muscles in there. My hands aren't straight, they're evenly bent this whole time. And then you can always think about how much force you're driving that knee up with. The more force, the harder it's going to get for sure. So you can just lift it, or you can really drive it. And there'll be a definite change in the feeling. Even if visually you pretty much still look the same. It's gonna be our last 20 seconds of this one, and then we've just got one more exercise for today. Awesome job. We're going to come back down to our mat. And we're going to do some plank and push-up work. We're going to start in the top of a push-up or a straight arm plank, however you want to think about that. When you come up, if you start in the tabletop position so that your knees are under your hips and your wrists are under your shoulders, from here, you're going to tighten your core and just straighten the leg behind you. And so notice as I straightened, I just came straight back. That's my plank position. If I drop my knees right back down where they are at, I am no longer in that tabletop, right? Because I pressed it straight back behind me. Here we go. So you're going to go in from your top of your push-up. You're going to do one push-up. And then you're going to take your wrists and put them your elbows and put them right where your wrists are. Drop down on your forearms for a plank. Come back up. Nice job. Make sure you are not just bending your elbows right where they are at. Make sure that you are actually moving your elbow to where your wrist was on the straight arms. If we need to modify this, we're here on top of our thighs, right? All of our weight comes forward, we come up, and then push up from there. And if you rest in that tabletop, that gives you a reminder to reset up, right? Top of your thighs, weight forward. On your toes, weight forward too. And hands as comfortably wide as you need to get that push up in. The bigger the space between your knees or your feet, whichever that happens to be for you, the more stability you have So the easier it's going to be. So as you try to make it harder, move your knees or your toes closer together. So this is shoulder and abs and chest. It's a lot of stuff. We're exhaling as we push up and away from the ground out of our push-up. That's what's gonna force all that oxygen to your pec muscles to get you off the ground. Remember when you go down in a push-up, that's gravity. Tighten your abs, focus on them. Do not tighten your arms as you go down in the push-up. Gravity, let your chest lift you up. It's a game changer when you start using the muscles the right way. So as you can see, we're not getting through very many in 20 seconds, but that is okay. This is an exercise that for myself personally, I would, if I were not recording a video and trying to talk, I would do a few more sets on my toes to challenge myself. But I would do a few sets here in this modified position because you're going to get through more. And sometimes that's just as good and as important. We're doing really good too, guys. So we're exhaling as we're lifting away from the ground in this plank, exhaling as we lift up from our push-up. Awesome, and make sure wherever you're resting, you are resetting before we go into this last one. Totally reset your position. Abs engaged, whether you have your belly button up and into your spine, or you're bearing down. Great job. So that was it. 4 exercises, all to the Tabata timer. We are done for the day. Make sure you do some good stretching, drink some water, and I'll catch you next time. Have a great day.